Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. Good Lord, my hair is doing something weird. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, there it is, wait, nope, over here, BetterHelp. BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They're all over the world. If you need to get into a therapist, they are licensed. They are master's level, PhD level. If you get in and you don't like them, you just go back in and say, hey, didn't like them, fill out some more questions, and they will place you with a different therapist licensed in your state or that can do international. I've been getting good feedback from people that have been using them, so that is really good. They are very affordable, which is really important in this day and age. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, questions, lots and lots of questions. So this last Sunday, we were talking about when you have to go estrangement from an adult child. Okay, so some of these questions are about that, and I will hit on all of the questions that I got. Can you discuss going to therapy with an abuser and why that's so dangerous, how they twist everything and learn from the therapy? Okay, so basically you never, ever, ever, ever on this or any other planet want to go to therapy with an abuser. Why? Abusers, whether they're overt, covert, communal, doesn't matter, never take responsibility for their own actions. And what they use therapy for is to either get the therapist to sympathize with them, and it's all you, which is also damaging and hurtful, or you tell them the truth about everything that's going on, and they will take what is said in the therapy session and just twist the living crap out of it, so somehow it's all your fault. So you never, ever, 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 ever want to go with an abuser to therapy. Ever. It's not going to change them, guys. And anybody who tells you that an abuser can change has probably also got a deed to the Brooklyn Bridge. It's not going to happen. They don't change. They don't get better. They don't change. It is dangerous to go with them because they'll take what you say in therapy and they'll twist it and they'll use it against you. Or if you bring up a trauma from your family of origin, they will take that information and use it against you. Work on, they'll work on making your self-esteem not good, or they'll make fun of you, or they'll, whatever. So you don't ever want to go to therapy with an abuser. Ever. It's not going to do any good. It's not. So yeah, just if you're with an abuser, get out. That's the best advice I can give, is if you are being abused, get out. They're not going to change. It's not going to get better. So don't go to therapy with them. Absolutely not. All right. When is the parent obsessed or enmeshed with the child? Okay. So enmeshment is where the parent has no boundaries. Like, there is no, here's where I begin and end, here's where you begin and end. So in the great example, it was in the question that I didn't read, but the great example was my mom. She stalked me a lot of times when I was a teenager. And if I got dumped by a boyfriend, she took it personally as if it had happened to her. And I'm just like, that wasn't your boyfriend. That was mine. Why are you upset? I mean, you can be upset for your child and have empathy for them and go, gosh, that must have really sucked. I'm sorry. But when they're enmeshed, it's as if the event happened to them. I think I'm going to turn this light off. There we go. This is a little too orange glowy there. So they have no boundaries. It's like when something happens to the kid, it's as if it happened to them. So it's dysfunctional. It's not healthy. It's not normal. So if you have a parent that is enmeshed, they don't allow for you to have your own life. They don't allow you to have secrets. They don't allow you to, go do things on your own. They demand that you overshare. They demand that you tell them literally everything. So not healthy, not normal, seriously. So you definitely want to get with a good trauma therapist and work on undoing that enmeshment. because you have the right to say no. So like with my mom, I would stop telling her things. I finally just stopped telling her things. She didn't need to know. It's a need to know basis. You don't need to know. That kind of thing. And drawing boundaries and pretty much reminding her I'm an adult. It's like I'm not going to be treated like a kid anymore, because I'm not, and I haven't been for a very long time. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's really getting with a good trauma therapist. And what is my hair doing? I don't know. And boundaries. So drawing your own boundaries, writing your list of deal breakers. That goes for family members too. Your list of deal breakers is not just for romantic partners. This is for family members as well. What will you not put up with? I will not put up with disrespect. I will not put up with people crossing my boundary, which is a disrespect. I will not put up with name calling, which is a disrespect. I will not put up with gaslighting, which is a disrespect. I will not put up with rewriting history, which is also a disrespect. Do you see where I'm going with that? So you don't put up with any of that stuff from literally anybody. I don't care that they gave birth to you. I don't care that they were a sperm donor. You don't put up with it from anybody, period. So there is that. Okay. How to deal with people asking why you don't have a relationship with your adult kids. Well, that depends on who's asking. If it's somebody that you can share with, then that's okay. But if it's just a nosy Parker, no. What you do is what I do is when somebody asks me a question that I have absolutely no intention of answering, I will look at them and go, wow, thanks for asking. Dead silence. And they don't know what to do with that, because they're like, you're welcome? We're not talking about this. And that's what I tell them. Well, but why? None ya business. And I will be point blank in their face. I'm sorry. I have zero. Behold my field of FUs. I have none to give. Seriously, it's like it's none of their business. You don't have to give somebody an answer. If somebody is asking you an inappropriate question, you can absolutely say, I am not answering that question. It is none of your business. Point blank. And if they get offended, you know who you're dealing with. Seriously. If they're immediately apologetic and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to cross over that boundary, then they're okay. But if they're like, huffy, then yeah, you're dealing with somebody who's disordered. So yeah, you have the right to draw boundaries with people. If somebody asks you why you're not in a relationship with an adult child, you can say, I'm not discussing this. It's none of your business. Thank you. Period. We're done. How about them Dodgers? I honestly, blunt is good, because a lot of times abusers are intentionally, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentionally dumb. And they'll just miss the ginormous, hint that we're not talking about this. So you can point blank say, I am not comfortable discussing this with you. Thank you. How are you doing? Flip it around on them. So yeah, you don't have to. You can be as blunt as you need to be, and it depends on who it is. If it's somebody you like, and if it's somebody you trust, if you feel like discussing it, you can. But if it's somebody that you like and trust and you don't want to discuss it, you just say, hey, I really don't want to discuss this. It's too raw, it's too fresh. Thank you though. Thank you for asking. Leave it at that. Does that make sense? So that's how I would handle that. I am not sure I understand triangulation of communication. Can you please explain that again? Okay. Triangulation of communication is a game of telephone. So what the abuser will do is they will be the operator and everybody else is in this game. So you remember the game of telephone when we were kids? Somebody would start with, I like ice cream, and by the time it got to the end, it was like, I don't know, Mississippi is a great or a great state. I don't know. It's completely different. So from I like ice cream to Mississippi is a great state, which it's not, but it's okay. So it is. It's just hot and humid. Anyway, so the point being is that it goes from one concept to another that has nothing to do with it. And in the meanwhile, the communication gets completely garbled, and that is the intention of the abuser. So the operator will do something along the lines of, think of it as a triangle. So they're at the peak, right? So here's B over here and C over here, right? So we got A as the operator, B and C. So the operator will say, well, you know, so-and-so, B, said such and such about you, C, right? And then C will go and say, oh, well, you tell B that I said blah, 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 blah. And then the operator will go to B and go, oh, well, you know, C said, and they can say whatever they want, and it's probably not true. So what they do is they create this triangulation of communication so that they are constantly in the loop of what's going on and who's in relationship with who. Now, remember, abusers love to divide and conquer. They want the kids to not get along. Why do you think they have a golden child and a scapegoat and an ignored middle child, etc.? They don't want the kids talking to each other. They want to be in control of everything. So anytime anyone says to me, so-and-so said such and such about you, great, let's get them on the phone right now. Let's clear this up. Watch them backpedal. They'll be like, oh my God, no, because they don't want that. They don't want you talking directly to the other person. They want all of the communication to go through them. Does that make sense? So the best way to stop that is, like I said, the second they say so-and-so said such and such, great, let's get them on the phone. Let's talk to them. Let's clear this up. Again, blunt is always the way to go with these people. So yeah, that's what you do. You don't ever do gossip. You don't ever do third-party communication. Well, so-and-so said such and such, great, let's get them on the phone. Let's talk to them. Let's see what was said. So don't put up with triangulation of communication. So-and-so said such and such, or I heard, no, go straight to the horse's mouth. That's what you want to do. So that is triangulation of communication. Okay, this coming Sunday, we're going to be talking about subconscious programming, why it's important to get it up to consciousness. We're going to talk about the different levels of consciousness. We're going to talk about how to help yourself stay in the present moment, recognize the subconscious programming, and move through it. It's like process it and not be run by it. So, all right, we're going to talk about that. You guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.